Good afternoon, welcome to the Retro Shed Workshop. This is a Tesco organic whole chicken, but that's not what I wanted to show you. This is a Commodore 64 bread bin, one of my favourite retro computers in the world. It's just totally iconic, isn't it? Look at it. This Commodore 64 is no ordinary Commodore 64. This is the Commodore 64 that I used to use when I was about 13, 14, 15 years old. And it was kindly donated to us by its owner, Andy Broad of Kings Norton, who is somebody that I've known since I was a kid. And this used to be his father's Commodore 64. This is the one. Now, this has not been powered up for over 30 years. And it was in a bit of a state when I got it the other day. It's been sat in the loft, covered in God knows what stuff that gets accumulated in the loft over that length of time. And today, this beauty is being powered up for the first time in a very long time. This is a very old Commodore 64. I mean, it's got discoloration, it had stickers on it. Yeah, it's an old one. And I've tidied it up, I've cleaned it. I've put it in the windowsill in bright sunlight, so it's a slightly paler colour on top than it was when we were given it. Yeah, that's what colour it was. I got the stickers off it and it's looking a little bit better. It still needs a bit more work. But before I power it up and test it, I'm going to heat sink the chips. I don't want those to get too hot and blow, so I'm going to open it up again and heat sink these, and then we're going to power it up and see if it works. So the first step in heat sinking it obviously is going to get it open, and you can see there where there was a sticker on it, just there, and the original label I have still got somewhere. I just need to add some more glue on it and get it stuck back down. But let's get the Commodore 64 open first of all. Okay, here's the C64 opened up, and I've spotted some what looks like corrosion on these ceramic capacitors. And I'm not sure what that is because they don't have electrolytes in them. I don't know if something's been spilled on the board in the past, I'm not sure. But what I've got is 3 heat sinks here, one for the CPU, one for the PLA, and one for the SID chip. And they're going to go on these 3 chips here. You can see in the middle of your picture. So I'm just going to clean the surfaces up on these chips here, and then I'm going to apply some thermal compound and get these heat sinks mounted up. That's better, we're in the warmth of the Retro Shed now. So I'm not going to use the original power supply that came with it. I don't trust them, and if there's a fault on it, it's going to damage the main C64. So I'm going to plug in this new modern power supply that I bought a few years ago. Okay, so we're all plugged in, ready to go. Let's see what happens. And nothing. Sadly, nothing. So I did hear something from the speaker, and we do have an LED. Let's try it again. Yeah. So sadly, we have a dead C64. Now, I'll tell you what I will do actually. Let's try and tune into RF. Let's stick an RF cable on it and give that a go. So just tuning on RF will rule out something. Let's just make sure that we've got no video output on the actual video socket and the RF at the same time. Let's see if it finds anything. Yeah, it did. Notice it did find something then. So we've got the same black screen on RF as we have on the video output. So yeah, we've definitely got a dead C64 here. Let's get it back in the workshop and see what we can do with it. Okay, here we are back in the workshop. Now, I know the power supply is good. It's a new power supply, and I've already ruled out the power supply because I tested it with another one. So it's likely we have a dead chip somewhere on the board. Now, the problem with the Commodore 64 is the black screen is quite a common display for a multitude of different problems. It can be a dead CPU, it can be a dead PLA chip, it could be a dead VIC-2 chip, it could be a number of different things. It could be a dead RAM chip. Now I don't have an oscilloscope in here, I've only got some basic diagnostics tools and bits and pieces, so luckily somewhere I know we've got, there you go, a spare C64 board. Now I know the only thing that's failed on this one is the SID chip, so hopefully, and it's not going to be the SID chip, I wouldn't have thought a SID chip gives a black display, so it might be a question of swapping over a few chips and see if we can isolate what's dead. So let's get started. Let's start checking some voltages. I can see the LED is on, but it doesn't hurt to check some of the voltages. Let's see what we've got. If I put my meter over there, what have we got? So we should be seeing 5 volts on each side of this inductor here. I can hold the camera and get the probe in there at the same time. Not easy. 5.1 on the one side of it, which is good. Let's just check the other side of that inductor. 5.1 there, which is good. Should be seeing 5 volts on the side of that capacitor there, which we are. And let's just come down and check a couple of the regulators. 5 volts on that pin, which is good. 11.2 on that side, that's good. What have we got on this? 11.9 there, nothing there, and 20 volts on that pin, which is what I would expect. There's no point in checking the fuse, I know the fuse is good. So power appears to be fine, and we've got the LED on, so that all looks good. The power supply is good, so I suspect we're looking at a dead chip. Let's see if there's any warmth on these. CPU is slightly warm. SID chip's got a bit of warmth on it, and the PLA has got a bit of warmth on it. So none of the RAM chips are red hot either. It's been on about 20 minutes now, and I would expect it to. Any dead RAM chips do get very, very hot indeed. The CPU and the PLA is hard soldered to the board, so it's going to be very difficult to actually get to those. So what I've just done, I've swapped the VIC-2 chip from my spare board, and I've replaced the VIC-2 in there. So I thought I'd do the VIC-2 chip first. That's nice and easy, and it's socketed, so I don't have to mess around on soldering stuff. So let's power on and see what we got. Right, it helps if I turn the power supply switch on. Let's flick that on. Okay, power supply on. What we got? Oh, there you go. First chip. How lucky was that? That was the first chip. So I've took the VIC-2 from that board and I've put it onto this board. I'm not going to run it up for long because it needs a heatsink on it. So 1 second. Right, there you go. I've just replaced the lid on the VIC-2. Let's try that again. Click it on. There we go. That looks good. So what I'm going to do out of interest, I'm going to put that VIC chip on my spare board, and hopefully the problem would have taken itself from that C64 and should now be on this one. I know this board did actually power up, so yeah, let's just swap it over and see what happens. So I've re-socketed the VIC-2 from the dead CC64, and I reckon it should work. And yeah, there you go. So we are definitely looking at a dead VIC chip. So I'm just going to label up this board, put it away, so we know this board now has a faulty SID and a faulty VIC-2 chip. There you go, that was quite painless really, that was a nice easy fix. So I'm just going to put this one all back together again now. Hopefully we've got now one fully working C64 ready to play some cool games on. Well, you got to admit that looks a lot better, doesn't it? So what can we do to test a Commodore 64? I suppose we could play some games. I chose this game for a reason. This game is one that we used to play all the time on this particular C64. You know what? It's so nice to see this Commodore running again. It is a very special Commodore 64, and this is the game we always used to play. I remember being utterly useless at it. Let's give it a go. It's Mickey, or Mikey. I think it's Mickey, isn't it? I remember the music to this. Let me turn the volume up a bit for you. I can't even remember how you play it now. Hang on. Oh, that's it. You have to... I don't know. You have to kick him off the chair, and the teacher throws his false teeth at you, doesn't he? Oh. What did he do that for? I was sat down. Oh, God. This brings back some memories. No, get away from me. Oh, God, we had some fun with this. Alright, let's try and give him the run around. Let's try a different tactic. Alright, let's see if I can get him to come down into this corner. Come on. Get out of the way. Oh, no. What have you got to do? Oh no, they're all after me now. No, don't know what you got to do. I know you got to go up to each locker and do something, but I can't remember what. No idea what you got to do. Somebody will tell me. So this is Warhawk, which is a great game actually. And of course we have this now on the Spectrum Next. But still, a great shooter on the C64. I mean, those graphics are as chunky as hell, aren't they? You know, people used to say the C64 was chunky and blocky. Well, you can't argue with that, can you? It's fast, I'll give it that. Bloody hell, that's quick. Right, last game for the day. Let's have a look at the absolute classic Raid Over Moscow, and I must have played this to death when I was a kid. Loved it. Let's see if I can still remember how to play it. So it's been a good few years since I played this, and I can't remember how you play it. Oh, that's it, yeah, you've got to come out of the hangar first of all. Yeah. It took me ages to figure out what button it was without the instructions to open the hangar doors. I think it's F7 or F8, isn't it? Hang on. Yeah, there you go. Out we go. Oh, that was it. Yeah. After all that, he flies into a tree. Great. Well done, Baz. It's just getting used to the controls again. If you can hear funny noises, unfortunately, it's our neighbour but one, whose back garden is just like... Oh dear, honestly. It's like a builder's scrapyard. Don't know what he's trying to build now, but he just never stops. Never ever stops building junk. Right, okay. That's up, that's down, that's left, right. Ah, I got it. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all coming back to me now. Oh, it's a classic, isn't it, this? Oh, I love this game. What have you got to do here? Oh yeah, you got to puke. Yeah. Try to remember what happens. The plane changes colour, doesn't it, when you're on... Yeah, there you go. When you're on target, your plane changes colour. That's it. Got it. Yes. Let's go for another launch, shall we? Oh, there you go. Those pesky Ruskies have launched again. So let's go for it again. Let's turn the volume up a bit, actually. It's quite quiet, isn't it? There you go. I forgot, it's only the middle one that you've got to blow up, isn't it? There you go. Right, there you have it. Thank you very much, Andy, Mr. Andy Broad, for donating this lovely old C64 to the shed. Luckily, it was a nice, easy repair. It's just swapping out the VIC-2 chip that had died, and she lives again. So yeah, once again, thank you very much, Andy Broad, for donating this to the shed. It's gone to a wonderful home. We will take care of her. Brilliant. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that look at fixing the C64, and we will catch you again very soon here in the Retro Shed. So take care now. Bye-bye.